Hi, these comments are for MS. This is Michael Buckoff from BetterTOEFLScores.com. You're one of my TOEFL writing and speaking feedback students, and you just completed, it looks like, an independent speaking task for the TOEFL IBT. I'm going to provide you some feedback based on your performance. Okay, let's listen to your
If I
practice
had to
test.
choose between wearing uniform to school versus not wearing uniform to school, I would opt for wearing uniform to school because this reduces bullying as well as saves time in the morning. First of all, wearing uniform to school reduces bullying at school because nowadays kids make fun of each other for the least amount of reasons or even no reason at all. Second of all, this saves time in the morning. If the child need to go and look for the suitable uniform, it will just take a minute rather than trying to match up a t-shirt with special shorts, or for girls like a t-shirt maybe with a skirt. So this is easier for everybody. For these two reasons, I would choose wearing uniform versus not wearing uniform.
All right, so you got good structure to the ideas. There's no doubt about that. So you have the introduction, you state your 2 points, then you even restate those and provide your examples after that to create a coherent organization. Let me look at it here. I'm trying to think about how I might score. I'm thinking you're definitely 3 or higher, right? So you're at least, I'm going to say 23 to 24 points or higher on this practice test. So let me listen to it one more time, and this time I'm going to give you a little bit more feedback, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay, here we
If I
go.
had to choose between wearing uniform to school versus not wearing uniform to school, I would opt for wearing uniform to school because
Okay, maybe a little bit of repetition with the word uniform. What are some other words you can use that refer to that? And let me think here for a minute. Let me go to ChatGPT for just a minute. Okay, let's say so I think you want to be careful about using exactly the same word like wearing uniforms or uniforms. So there's different things you could do here. Outfit in uniforms, following a dress code, dressing alike, and so on. So I would say just be careful about overusing a certain word too many times. That would be my feedback on that. So there are other words you could use there. Okay, let's keep going.
this reduces bullying as well as saves time.
And there's one, I got to give you language use. You have a language use problem also. Listen to this in the beginning.
If I had to choose between wearing uniform to school versus not wearing uniform to school, I would opt for wearing uniform to school.
So, if I had to choose between wearing or not wearing uniforms to school, so that way you don't have to keep repeating exactly that.
Because this reduces bullying as well versus not wearing uniform to school, I would opt for wearing uniform to
I would up for wearing uniforms, but you want to say, I would be up for, or how about this? I would favor maybe following a dress code. That might be better there. So you can't just say, I would up for. You have to say, I would be up for. And you forgot that be verb in there. So that's actually a language use error there. That's a pretty big problem. So you have to be careful about omitting words, leaving words out. And if possible, instead of using up, something like favor might work a little bit better. It's a little bit more formal type word. I think up is used in more conversational English. So I think that's probably not as appropriate for this type of tone.
School because this reduces bullying as well as saves time in the morning.
Because this, how about this policy? But the problem is, in the beginning, you started off with hypothetical. I would. If I had, I would. Instead of saying reduces, then you say this would reduce. So what you need to do is if you want to speak hypothetically, do you want to talk about a present possible condition or a present impossible condition? My message is to be consistent. You want to be consistent with the verb tense you're using, right? So either if I had, I would, so this would reduce because, or this policy would help students too, or it will help students. So you want to be more consistent in the verb tenses to create more unity, I think, within the paragraph. So I think that's an issue you want to think about.
First of all, wearing uniform to school reduces bullying at school because
Or how about wearing uniforms? Having students dress alike.
nowadays kids make fun of each other for the least amount of reasons or even no reason.
For the least not amount, for the least number of reasons. And it's even just a little bit awkward or unnatural the way you're saying that. Let me listen to that one more
Nowadays, kids make fun of each other for the least amount of reasons or even no reason at all. Second of all, this saves time in the morning. If the child need to go and look for the suitable uniform, it will just take a minute rather than trying to match up a t-shirt with special shorts, or for girls like a t-shirt maybe with a skirt. So this is easier for everyone.
So there is some concreteness there that I like. I like the specificity of the type of clothing
It
here.
will just take a minute rather than trying to match up a t-shirt with special shorts, or for girls like a t-shirt maybe with a skirt. So this is easier for everyone.
When you say a t-shirt, you want to say light blue or white or something along those lines to show a little bit more specific type wording in there might also help with your elaboration.
Everybody. For these two reasons, I would choose wearing uniform versus not wearing uniform.
Okay, so let's take a look at the actual rubrics here. So in the 3, speech is clear with some fluidity of expression, but it exhibits minor difficulties with pronunciation, intonation, or pacing, may require some listener effort. Overall intelligibility remains good, however. I don't really see a lot of issues with the delivery. I think your delivery is pretty good. You have a good speaking rate. Maybe just one minor thing, maybe just vary the tone just a little bit more. So when you get to like the end of a non-final thought group, you can have the tone go up slightly. I think that might help you speak a little bit more naturally, and it might engage the listener a little bit more. I think a lot of the issues are in the language use. So delivery, you're probably at least 3.5 to 4 on the delivery. Language use, I think it's more of an issue. I think this is probably one of the things that's holding you back right now. I'm going to say language use probably between 3 and 3.5. So you have maybe some minor errors or imprecise use may be noticeable. It doesn't really obscure meaning, but you know the problems with they would up for or they would be up for. I think that's a problem. You had some inconsistency with your verb tenses as you're trying to control that hypothetical, either the present possible or the present impossible type situation there. So if you go with the present impossible, you have to use would plus past tense verbs. If you want to do the present possible type scenario, then you want to have will plus present tense verbs in there. So you need to make up your mind how you want to explain it. You don't want to mix and match verbs from both scenarios. I don't think that's going to work very well. So you have to be more controlled, I think, in that area. I think with topic development, you have a clear progression of ideas. So I think language use, you're 3 to 3.5. Topic development, let's say clear progression, includes appropriate detail with minor errors, minor omissions. I think you're probably strong there. So I'm going to say you're probably around 3.5 to 4. My main recommendation is remember when you're using that important uniforms or wearing uniforms, you can see here I went into chat and I got some synonyms that can help you even grammatically, being required to wear uniforms, using standard clothing, um, following a dress code, mandated to dress alike. You should probably use a variety of phrases and also words that refer to that topic. I think that's going to show a little bit better range of vocabulary also. All right, so anyway, that's kind of my take on it. So I think overall, you're probably, I'm thinking maybe 24 to 26 points would be my estimation based on your performance on this practice test.